The theater was unusually quiet that night, the kind of silence that feels heavy, almost sacred. The bright lights of the stage reflected off the judges' table, but something in the air was different. When the contestants walked out, there was no flashy confidence, no exaggerated smiles, only calm, respectful expressions. Before a single note was sung, one of them stepped forward and spoke softly into the microphone. They explained that the song they were about to perform was not chosen for competition, not for votes, not for fame, but for remembrance. It was dedicated to Simon Cowell's late friend, someone who had stood by him through some of the most defining moments of his life. The audience collectively inhaled. Even Simon, known for his sharp tongue and unshakable composure, shifted slightly in his chair. His arms, usually crossed like armor, loosened. Memories surfaced instantly, late nights, shared victories, private losses. The room transformed from a television studio into something far more intimate, as if the entire world had been invited into a personal moment of grief and honor. No one spoke. No one moved. The performance hadn't even begun, yet something powerful had already happened. As the first note echoed through the hall, it was clear this would not be an ordinary performance. The melody was gentle, almost fragile, like a whisper meant only for the heart. Every lyric carried weight, telling a story of friendship, loyalty, loss, and love that never truly fades. The singers didn't overperform, they didn't chase applause. Instead, they let the song breathe, allowing each word to sink deeply into the silence. The audience sat frozen, many with hands covering mouths, others already wiping tears. Cameras slowly turned to Simon Cowell, capturing something rarely seen, his eyes glistening. The tough exterior that had defined his television persona for decades began to crack. His jaw tightened, not in judgment, but in emotion. Each line seemed to pull another memory from his past, moments he had buried beneath success and routine. It wasn't just a song anymore. It was a bridge between the past and the present, between what was lost and what still lived on in memory. Halfway through the performance, something unexpected happened. The audience, without being prompted, began to feel connected, not just to the song, but to Simon himself. This wasn't about celebrity or television drama anymore. It was about human pain and shared understanding. The singers reached the chorus, and the harmony swelled, filling the theater with a warmth that felt almost healing. Simon lowered his head slightly, his hand resting near his mouth as if holding back words or tears. For a man who had built a career on criticism and control, this moment stripped everything away. Judges beside him glanced over, visibly moved, unsure whether to comfort him or simply respect the silence. The song spoke of saying goodbye without really letting go, of carrying someone's spirit forward. For Simon, it was as if his late friend was sitting right there in the room with him, alive in the music, alive in the moment. As the final notes approached, the atmosphere grew heavier, yet strangely peaceful. The performers gave everything they had, not in volume, but in sincerity. When the last note finally faded, there was a pause. Not a single clap, not a single cheer, just silence. A deep, respectful silence that lasted several seconds but felt like an eternity. Then, slowly, the audience rose to their feet. One by one, thousands standing together, applauding not just a performance, but a memory, a friendship, a life that mattered. Simon stood as well, something he almost never did so quickly. His face showed raw emotion, eyes red, lips pressed together, a quiet nod toward the performers. In that moment, the world saw him not as the ruthless judge, but as a man who had loved, lost, and been profoundly affected. The standing ovation thundered, not loud with excitement, but strong with respect. When Simon finally spoke, his voice was softer than anyone expected. Gone was the sharp sarcasm, replaced by sincerity and gratitude. He thanked the performers, not as a judge, but as a friend. He admitted that the song had reopened wounds he rarely allowed himself to feel, but he also confessed something deeper, that it reminded him why music matters, why these shows exist beyond ratings and headlines. He shared a brief story about his late friend, how they believed in talent, in honesty, in taking chances on people others overlooked. The audience listened closely, knowing they were witnessing something rare and real. Simon paused several times, steadying himself, before finishing with words that echoed through the room. That was not just a performance. That was a gift. Tears flowed freely throughout the theater, from contestants to crew members, from judges to viewers watching at home. Long after the episode aired, people continued talking about that moment. Clips spread across social media, not because of shock or controversy, but because of emotion. Viewers said they cried without knowing why. Others said it reminded them of someone they had lost. The performance became more than a viral clip. It became a symbol of how music can heal, how vulnerability can unite millions, and how even the strongest people carry quiet grief. For Simon Cowell, that night marked something profound. It wasn't just about remembering a friend. It was about allowing the world to see his humanity. And for everyone watching, it was a reminder that behind every famous face is a story. Behind every judgment is a heart. And sometimes, all it takes is one song to change everything.